Good day. Thank you for having me at this conference. In 2016, Orford Mining discovered what we believe is to be a major new gold district in Canada, and its Qiqavik Project. And that'll be the center of this talk. We also have our West Raglan nickel copper PGM project in the same region of Northern Quebec. These are forward-looking statements. I'll let you read those at your leisure. So a few key takeaways I'd like you to make from our presentation. First, we have a new strategic shareholder that came into the company in 2019, Alamos Gold. They now hold 22.2%, and they are very supportive. We announced an equity issue this past Friday, and they are a supportive investor in that equity issue. We also have other key shareholders in Karora Gold and Dundee, and strong institutional and retail shareholdership. The Qiqavik project is a very large project, 350 kilometers squared of highly prospective land in the underexplored Cape Smith belt. There's a long, 40-kilometer long Qiqavik break shear zone that cuts through this project with 12 mineralized areas associated with it. In 2019, we drilled 6 drill holes. All those drill holes in 3 different geological environments hit gold. So that's quite something in a brand new gold district. The West Raglan project is our nickel sulfide project, also 100% owned by Orford. We're seeking a joint venture project for this project. It's a 470 square kilometer project, also in the Cape Smith belt. We have a number of very good zones there, copper nickel zones, very similar grades to Glencore's Raglan mine, which is just 90 kilometers to the east and contains 35 million tons of 3.2% nickel. We have recently staked 2 new 100% owned properties in the Joutel district of the Abitibi region of Quebec. Both are situated on either the Joutel volcanic sequence or on the eastern edge of the Casa Berardi structural zone. And both have had very little exploration for many years and not much exploration period. This is our management team. I'm a professional geologist, spent over 34 years experience in the resource and financial sector. I was an analyst with TD and Scotia, followed by being a portfolio manager with the Goodman & Company Investment Council and Dundee Resources. I was also CEO of Eagle Hill Exploration. We had a project called Windfall Lake. We took 4 companies, merged them together along with the Cisco Mining Group to create what is today's the Cisco Mining. Alger St. Jean and Michel Fiorentino drive our exploration group. Both of them are very experienced geologists with many years experience in both nickel and gold. And our board is there to read. It's our cap structure. We currently have about 95.2 million shares outstanding, around an $18 million market cap. After the post this financing we're working on right now, we'd have about $5 million in the bank. And you can see there our shareholder makeup with Alamos Gold having the largest piece at 22.2%, institutional at 21%, retail at 37.3%. We've had a big run up in our share price recently with a pile of new shareholders coming in and providing great interest to the story. This slide just gives you an idea where our projects are. We're in the far northern part of Quebec with Qiqavik and West Raglan, very similar location to what is in the Western Arctic where Meliadine, Hope Bay, and Meadowbank, Bagnico, and TMAC sit. One thing you should note, the Eastern Arctic has seen very little gold exploration until our new project. The Western Arctic has seen lots of gold exploration since the middle of the 80s. We also have our new projects much further south in the Abitibi, McClure East and Joutel South. And we think there's a lot of potential with those 2 projects. And we have a couple of royalties in Colombia on the Santa Ana property of Outcrop Gold and the Falan property of Malabar Gold. So our 2 projects sit in the Cape Smith belt in the northern Quebec region of Nunavik. This belt cuts across the property and swings down into the Snow Lake Manitoba belt, the same belt there. You can see it's divided into 2 terrains, the northern terrain, which is very prospective for gold, and the southern terrain, which is where the komatiitic nickel deposits of Raglan and Nunavik nickel sit. We are 90 kilometers to the west of Raglan. We have the same kind of property, same kind of assays and geology as Raglan. The parent group, which sits to the north of that, is very similar in geological setting and tectonic setting to the Flin Flon Snow Lake Belt in Canada, the Ashanti Belt in West Africa, Tanami Belt in Western Australia, or the Paramo Belt in Brazil. We've discovered what we think are 12 new zones on the project, and we'll talk about that as we go on. This is the map that got us very excited. When you look across this property, 40 kilometers end to end, We've got high-grade new showings across the entire project from end to end, and all of them are in different geological environments. In the west, we've got copper gold in a sulfide shear zone. We've got golden intrusions in the middle. We've got shear zones of IP Lake and Interlake. We've got iron formation in the far eastern part of the project. So a lot of different gold environments as we move across, and very high grade numbers such as 650 grams per ton in the IP Lake area, and many other grades. This map just gives you an idea of the drilling we have done on the project to date. We're about 5,500 meters of drilling. That's not a lot across a 40-kilometer project. And that's all the drilling there. There's only been 2 other holes there ever, and that was the original Falconbridge holes there in that red box there, par 9601. They had 3.08 grams over 10.5 meters. That's what brought us here to have a look. That was the original showing. They were looking for nickel and walked away, but we think that there's the potential for gold deposits here is great, and our drilling has shown that. As you see, even in these drill holes across the entire project, lots of gold in various places. This is the Interlake area. They'll zoom into the middle of the project. So this is the 2019 drilling. So on the far western side of the project is the focused intrusion, hole number 6, where we drilled an intrusion with quartz veins and got gold throughout the intrusion. Only 1 hole there. 3 holes in the Interlake area, separated by about 5 kilometers, and great grades there. Great widths there. We've got 53 meters of 0.5 grams per ton in one of the holes, and as high as 2.8 grams over 3.2 grams over 2.8 meters. So lots of good gold numbers going in there. Very thick intersections and much work to be done. In the IP Lake, which is at the southern part of the trend here, you can see this is a very long shear zone marked by yellow, and a couple drill holes we drilled there. We later found out those were not the best place to drill, and we'll show you that in a second. This is the Interlake area here. A little zoom in on that. You can see the high grade, the big thick intersections in hole 4 and the other holes here. This is about 5 kilometers from end to end, and we think the best location drills where this big red dot is here, which we haven't drilled yet because it would be a much deeper hole. We want to do some more till sampling in that area before we drill that hole. You can see these very high-grade boulder numbers here to the north, 24 grams per ton. The ice direction is south to north here, so we think that those boulders are coming from this area in here, so we'd like to get in there and drill some more holes. On the far western side of the project, I mentioned we had some copper and gold. This is about a 3.5 kilometer trend that we've outlined with drilling. It actually goes longer than that if you look at the conductors we've outlined. We drilled originally in 2017 IP conductors and exposures at surface. We later did VTEM surveys, and we've shown that the VTEM surveys our drilling only touched the edges of the best parts of these conductors. Therefore, we think the higher grade, thicker mineralization potential in the centers of these conductors is quite strong. This is the IP Lake trend. This is where we think we will focus our activities for the next field season at Qiqavik. You can see all these yellow and red dots here. These are till samples with very high numbers of gold grains in those till samples. The 2 arrows here, the 3 arrows you see are boulder trains, very high grade boulder trains with up to 600 grams per ton in one of them. VG in these boulder trains. This is what cued us in on this area, and we went in and did the till sampling. We believe there's 3 potential source areas for these boulders and these till samples. And so we'd like to go in there and do some more till sampling in this area, followed by geophysics, prospecting, and drilling. We did drill 2 holes here in this past in 2019. One of the holes hit a bit of gold here, hole number 2, but the till results to the north that weren't very good. So that bodes well for this area to the west, where we have very good till sample results and no drilling at this point in time. This is the same map as the previous one, just showing the coarse grain counts, and the numbers are very good. And we should talk about how these numbers compare to deposits like Meadowbank and Molaidine in the Western Arctic, as well as other places in Canada. These are very similar results to the till samples you get in those areas. So when we look at our project here, we've outlined a program of till sampling across the entire southern swath of the IP Lake trend, as followed by IP and diamond drilling. When we look at the entire project, as you can see by all these yellow callouts, There's a lot of different showings across the project. We could spend a lot of time on a lot of different things, but we decided to focus on 4 potential areas in the next year. And definitely the highest potential area is the IP Lake Trend, which is the center number 1 and 2 there. And we'll only follow up on the other priorities if we have the money and the time to do so. So moving on, so now we're at the Joutel area of Quebec. This is an area I actually got my start of my career on. The Joutel, Eagle, and Telbel mines that Agnico Eagle started its gold production in closed in 1993. The land in this area was held very, very tightly by a lot of larger companies for a long time, just recently started to be let go. And that was our opportunity here. We were doing some compilation. We noticed a couple pieces of land were open for staking, and we found that they were actually quite exciting pieces of land that had seen very little work and owned and covered a big part of the important structures in the area. So that's what we'll talk about. But these structures that we've staked along are the same structures as the Casa Berardi mine is on that Hecla owns, and that mine's produced over 2 million ounces of gold and has 3.4 million ounces in reserves. So some great company here along this structure. The Joutel mines that Agnico had of Eagle and Telbel, they produce well over 1 million ounces of gold. Just a little zoom in on that same area so you can see where we are relative to the Eagle, Telbel, and the copper mines that were just to the south of that, copper lead mine or copper zinc mines. And so there's our Joutel South and our McClure East property. Both of them have some gold results proximal to them in drill holes. When we did some compilation work on the McClure East, we saw that it actually had a lot more of the prospective geology. That's the yellow and red on the map here than the government maps had shown. So seeing more of that geology is very important, and we think that bodes well for us finding something on that property. When we did more compilation of the assessment work on the area, there wasn't a lot of work that had been done on McClure East, but you can see these stars. These are the RC drill holes. So they drill through the Oberon to sample the till. And they got in this one here, 30,000 ppb and 8 grains of gold. That points to the potential of having something, some kind of gold mineralization to the north of that. You can see all these dotted gray or black lines. Those are conductors that have not been followed up on. So a lot of work here that has not been followed up on. No work here really since 1993 when Agnico pulled out of the area. Same thing as Joutel South, not even less work's been done here. You can see a few of these showings in the area. These yellow dots are the showings. Much more felsic volcanics down here, which is the key horizon you want to have for both the copper deposits and the gold deposits of Joutel. So our work program here will be infilling with RC drilling to test the till horizon and sample for gold, as well as doing VTEM geophysics over the 2 areas, and hopefully follow that up with some diamond drilling. Our West Raglan project, which sits just 90 kilometers to the west of the Raglan world-class nickel mine that Xstrata owns, is where we're looking for a JV partner on that project. It is a key project with lots of potential. This project has recently seen lots of staking nearby it. Nickel has become a hot commodity with the electric vehicle battery market. So we're quite confident this project will see some spending in the coming year. This is the project and the showings we have discovered to date on it. So very high grade, prolific across the entire 55-kilometer long property. This is one of the better showings called Frontier. You can see the grades here: 3.2% nickel, 1.3% copper, and 3 grams combined platinum palladium over 28 meters. This is really world-class grades in a world-class nickel district. We have a great relationship with the local communities. We hire as many people as we can, and we work with Nunavik Inuit enterprises as much as possible. So just to sum up the company, first of all, we have very strong strategic shareholder support with Alamos Gold. We have a massive land position of over 800 square kilometers in the Nunavik region between West Raglan and the Qiqavik Gold Project. We also have a new established properties in the established gold district of Joutel. We have the potential, we think, for discovery of multi-million-ounce gold deposits of both the Qiqavik project and the Joutel projects. We're working, of course, in Quebec, which is one of the best and safest jurisdictions in the world. Next catalyst for the company is work that's going to be done on our Joutel projects in the month of October. the JV of our nickel project, and the acquisition of new projects. We think we can be a consolidator in the junior exploration space, specifically in Quebec, and so we're working towards that.